here. As far as the weather goes, this is northern parts of Mississippi. And they're having problems here in Shelby County up here in Memphis. Some of the roads are already closing because of the heavy sleet that's going on there. Let's discuss the latest forecast guidance coming in. And here's what we're looking at. We've got a winter storm warning from Memphis through Jackson to Nashville, roughly along I-40 there. And it's in that area that we're expecting some travel conditions to go downhill pretty quickly. And we're going to see that in northwest Alabama, probably beginning around 2 o'clock in the morning. Right now, the southern fringes of the viewing area, I don't see a huge concern for big snow accumulation, anything over, say, an inch. But you may get a sleet mix out there, and that's going to create some issues as well for the morning commute. By noon tomorrow, I think the roads are going to be in much better shape based on the road temperature forecasts I've been looking at. Here's that snowfall. Again, going back to earlier today, this is the part of the major winter storm that's really impacting parts of Arkansas, north of Memphis, and as we continue to see parts of Missouri as well. And that's pretty much going as scripted right now, as forecast. Here are the current temperatures. Notice the big difference from Muscle Shoals to Lawrenceburg, about a 10-degree difference. We've got a north wind coming in, so it's bringing in the colder air. But once this snow starts falling, may actually start as rain for a very brief period of time, that drier air is going to filter down and it's going to cool the atmosphere even more. We call it evaporative cooling, and when that takes place, it changes over to snow. So what we've got going on, this is our official forecast here. And you'll see the areas here over the northwest corner of the state have the better chance of this 2 and maybe even 3 inches of snow. These are the areas that'll take longer to recover. Other areas that see a 1 to perhaps 2 inch total, and we're talking Russellville, Moulton, close to Decatur, up to Newmarket, Bridgeport. These areas here, with the exception of the shoals, your roads are probably going to get better by 11 o'clock in the morning. But the end, this will be just a quick round of snow coming in the morning. And then this dusting and sleet mix, this is kind of the wild card, so to speak. As we take a closer look at this, what we've got here is some slightly warmer air and the potential that we're looking at a lot of just rain mixing with some sleet. However, if we reach that critical temperature of 32 degrees, that freezing temperature, that's when we could see some of this change over to snow. In fact, some of the model guidance here, I'll show you the graph model. It's got about close to an inch by 3 o'clock in the morning in the shoals. Keep in mind, there's not a lot of traffic out at that time. If you've got to get up early and get out on the roads, the less traffic there is, just take it easy, take it slow, and I think you'll be all right. The bridges and overpasses are going to be in worse shape. As far as where the snow is falling now, it just continues to fall in northern Mississippi. As we take a look at the radar here, there's some heavy sleet and snow mixing in here near Memphis, and that's all tracking to the east-northeast. In fact, here's some video earlier out of Arkansas today, and that's where this winter storm has been impacting people the most. Again, you briefly saw the still shot there. Again, we're just working on things here with our CTV. That was a view of where we're going to be reprogramming weather radios. And we'll talk about that. Again, this is coming up. This Friday, we'll be programming weather radios. We're going to be at the Jones Valley Ace Hardware, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's been a Sudafed day for me, so I got to make sure I get plenty of water. There's that Arkansas video. That's probably I-40. It's probably a lot worse by now, but what you see there is the accumulation. There's an elevated road section there. You see that car driving over it. And you can always tell where the elevated road section is because that's the first place that the snow starts to accumulate. And there you're seeing that. You see the tire tracks there. That's very slick there. And we've seen it in the past on 565. Usually it's the concrete sections that start to accumulate faster. As we go back to radar here and satellite, we'll show you what's going on just off to the west. Again, this is moving through Memphis right now. The heavier snow bands are starting to move through there. We're going to take a brief break here, and I'll be back in about 1 minute, and we'll talk more about the different model guidance coming in tonight and what it suggests for tomorrow morning. The snow is really starting to fall here. You get on the north side of Memphis and you get down south towards Tunica, and that's all sleet, and it's heavy sleet going on too. So let's take a closer look. It's just off to our west. This is accumulating pretty fast near Collierville. Let me check the Weather Service office there real quick. And then I'll read you the latest from Huntsville Weather Office. So Memphis, I got to put my glasses on for this one. Boy, there's some heavy sleet there too, right on the state line with Mississippi. Let's see, they got about, they're measuring in centimeters for some reason there. 1 to 1.5 centimeters. Some of these roads are covered. Highway 51. Henry County, Tennessee, about 1.5 inches. Latest from Huntsville. Just an update with our winter weather overnight. The earlier forecast remains on track with minor accumulations through the area and the same arrival time. One change, they believe the onset of the winter precipitation will likely be in the form of sleet rather than freezing rain before eventually transitioning to snow, where the temperatures drop below freezing. If this ends up being the case, it will decrease ice accumulations to near zero. However, we still expect minor travel impacts through the area and we'll be pushing safety messages on social media. So, again, may start as sleet instead of some freezing rain, and that's exactly what we're seeing over here in the Memphis area. Now, I'm going to go in here to this other menu here, and we're going to talk about the model guidance here. Let's talk sleet. We'll go through here, and it doesn't show up very well, but it's showing most of this sleet accumulation down in Coleman County and Haleyville. And I still buy that. So as we get into the hour-by-hour look, what you're more comfortable looking at, what we usually show on TV every day, this is the BAMS model. And you can see that the heaviest snow, we're still concentrating 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So here comes the transition. So you see the sleet there around midnight, 1 a.m. And then we transition to snow around, so maybe 30 minutes to an hour of this sleet mixture. And that creates a challenge on roads because you get the sleet on the roads, it causes the roads to freeze faster. If it's just snowing on the roads, the snow's going to melt and then it can refreeze, but it's harder for it to refreeze with the temperatures just hovering around freezing. But when you get sleet on there and then you get snow on top of the sleet, you get icy roads. So there's the challenge there. So you can see by this model guidance here, the sleet really starts in earnest from Athens, Decatur, and maybe down to Coleman, areas to the west around 2 o'clock in the morning. So as we continue on, again, this model guidance just coming in tonight. There's our heavy snow in the Huntsville metro area, Decatur, and this would indicate some heavier snow potentially down into Coleman as well, in Haleyville, north side of Smith Lake. But again, there's that transition zone. We don't know for sure where we're going to have that rain-snow line. But man, it's showing a lot more sleet in those areas, which would be the evaporative cooling. Heavy snow continues across much of North Alabama, especially along and north of the Tennessee River. This is around 5 o'clock in the morning. So again, if you want to set your alarm to wake up, maybe the kids want to see some snow, I would say 4:30, 5 o'clock, which coincides with the morning or early morning newscast as well. And we'll have video from throughout the valley on that. One last thing we'll talk about here is going to be at the end of the snow. You see about 8 o'clock. This is a quick round of snow. It's out of here. Also notice the rain that shows up here, especially east of Huntsville. So there will be some disappointment down into Marshall County and DeKalb County as this transitions to rain. And as we continue on here, I want to show you latest snowfall potential totals here. So there's kind of what this model has. And it pretty much jives with what we're thinking. It's down from earlier. It did have some 2 to 4 inch totals, but it still puts a pretty good bullseye on northwest Alabama, the Meridianville area, and then back towards Athens. So again, thanks for tuning in. Again, we're experimenting. We'll be doing live stuff like this on all our digital format platforms and everything beginning at 9:30 every evening. I believe at least Monday through Friday, and maybe some on the weekend as well. So just want to give you guys an update on everything. Now back to your regularly scheduled evening. Thanks for tuning in.